As I was driving through the woods, I stumbled upon a singing tree. Oh my goodness. Knowledge brings light. A singing tree lights your path. Come away with me on a journey of knowledge. Let me tell you a story from the green tales of Singing Tree. This is Africa. Hello, children all over the world. And hello to you too, Mumbi.
Great to be here with you too, Grandma Wura. And yes, these spin cakes are just what I needed. Maybe I could take some with me to share with my dog, Beanie, when I get home.
You know, just like how you and Beanie are so close, actually best friends, I will tell you the green tale of a boy who loved animals as much as you do. So, sit tight as I take you on a journey of knowledge. This is Africa. Once upon a time, there lived a boy called Namal. Namal's grandfather was a wildlife showman and owned a resort where birds of different species and trees of different kinds and colors were all present. People came from all over the world to see Namal's grandfather's resort. It was so beautiful, and the people knew that this place was like no other. Trees that stood proud and tall, a stream that glistened in the sun, and so many animals freely roaming about. There was a gentleness about these animals and their bond with Namal's grandfather. You could tell what a great blow it was when Namal's grandfather passed away. With his last breath, he told his son, Namal's father, who was to inherit the business, to keep it moving, preserve the resort. But when Namal's father saw how much went into the business in terms of money and care, he imagined that that amount of time and care could be put to better use. So, he turned the resort into a wood carving business, where he felled down the trees in the resort, processing them into paper and other products for the purpose of making a profit. In cutting down the trees, the home of the animals at the resort was being destroyed, and so these animals eventually had no other choice but to migrate elsewhere. This put them at the risk of hunters killing them, using their remains as prizes or rewards. Namal was very sad about this. He felt broken-hearted and devastated, for he had had a close relationship with his grandfather and knew what the resort meant to him while he was alive. So, when he saw all that was going on, he was frustrated and expressed to his father how unhappy he felt and how displeased and disappointed his grandfather would have felt if he was still alive.
Father, you need to stop. Grandpa would never have allowed this.
Namal,
You don't talk to me like that. I am still your father.
Namal's father was very furious and rebuked Namal for daring to speak up, especially at a time when the wood carving business was experiencing bankruptcy. Namal's father felt embarrassed by his son and was angry that his son would dare question his decision. He scolded Namal that day and sent him out of the workshop. Not knowing what to do with the present financial crisis, as the resort was now down to only one tree, Namal's father felt helpless. And that night, Namal sat at the swing near the house feeling so sad and wondering what he could do to save the resort. Suddenly, he heard the most beautiful voice from behind him, singing a very beautiful tune with a very beautiful melody line. When he turned around, he found himself gazing at the beautiful tree. A green lady stood before him. It was the singing tree. His grandfather had told him about the beautiful singing tree, but he thought they were just stories his grandfather had made up. As she ended her beautiful song, she looked at Namal and said to him,
"One tended seed with love, care and attention makes a forest full of memories."
And right after she spoke those words, she disappeared. Right at this point, Namal's mother's voice, who is calling out to him to come in for dinner, jolts him back to reality of the moment.
Namal, come inside. Dinner is ready.
It was almost like he never saw what he saw. But Singing Tree's words were still resounding in his mind and in his heart. They resounded in his heart right till the next day, and Namal couldn't seem to get over her words. While in his room, Namal spotted something. It shone brightly, and when he went nearer to it, he realized that it was the seedling, the very special seedling in a jar, which he and his grandfather had planted right before his grandfather passed. But now it glowed. He rushed out and ran up to the hillside as he tightly held onto this jar with the seedling in it. He carefully dug a hole in the sand and planted the seedling. Slowly, the plant spread its roots. It stretched out its branches in less than a day. Tall and beautiful trees sprouted, just like the ones that were at the resort when his grandfather was still alive. Namal figured it would be better to get the animals back so the resort would be fully restored. Namal's grandfather had told him that the first way to get animals somewhere was to get the birds to come first, and the rest would arrive. So, he placed grains all around and waited. When Namal saw the first pigeon, he knew other birds were close by, and before he knew it, the entire resort was filled with birds. Namal's father was astonished at how Namal had been able to pull all of this off. His father felt very sorry for what he had done to the resort and offered to help Namal gather up the animals and get them back. With time, the resort was finally restored to its former glory and is now being visited by tourists from all over the world than it ever had. The end.
This is Africa.
We learned that for animals to survive in an area, it must be properly taken care of. And just like in the story, there's still people who hunt down animals to use their husks and other parts as trophies. Ugh. And there are animals who are going extinct because of this. So let's try to improve the environment so we can help them grow in number. Yeah! I'll see you in the next Green Tale. Bye-bye!
This is Africa.
This podcast series is supported by Africa No Filter in partnership with MasterCard Foundation.
Listen to the earth's cry to protect our motherland. So come with me on the journey far and wide to find the truth and set it free. With memories, we'll light the way. True peace and heart.